Hello, everyone. This is Adam Meister, the Bitcoin Meister, the Disrupt Meister. Welcome to the One Bitcoin Show. Today is November the 10th, 2019. Strong hand. Bitcoin is the next Bitcoin. There are people in motion. I'll be talking about them. 5-digit realm. Value your wealth in Bitcoin. One Bitcoin equals one Bitcoin. I am offended by selling still to this very day. I've got the conviction, a new show every day. Hello, my elite friends over there in this chat. You can do a super chat. You can type in Bitcoin Meister. We'll have some time for some questions today, I guess, in this beautiful day that it was on the East Coast of the United States. I'm in Australia, in Adelaide, Australia, where it's already the next day, and it's a beautiful, warm day, and I want to go running. Check out This Week in Bitcoin show from Friday. David Bennett was on, and so was Leo Weiss. We talked about Taiwan, Hong Kong, China. Really worth your time, really smart stuff if you want to know what's going on there. It was in 2 parts. DisruptMeister.com, you can see all of it. And follow me on Twitter at TechBalt, TechBalt. We're going to talk about some Twitter stuff. And I want to say yesterday's Beyond Bitcoin show was really fun. At the end, I talked a little bit about this time of year in the past. It was my bar mitzvah. And so in honor of that, the picture for today, the thumbnail that you're all looking at, is from my bar mitzvah party, actually, from a long time ago. You can see my father making a speech and me there. It was awesome. So yesterday's Beyond Bitcoin show, since we talk about the subjects beyond Bitcoin, I actually talked a little bit about bar mitzvah related activity. But it was this time of year, way back when. Who knows when it was? All right. Let's see. Roman Q says, Adam Meister is always an authentic Meister. But that talus moment was next level. Yes, I talked about my talus that my father gave me right before my bar mitzvah. That's what I talked about on yesterday's show, at the end of the show. And we talked about lots of stuff on yesterday's show. But there's a picture. I like that picture that I have for today's thumbnail. I can do whatever picture I want to here. Pound that like button. It looks like my dad is imparting this wisdom upon me. He's telling me about Bitcoin back in the day. No doubt about it. He wants to tell me about Ray Dalio and all this nonsense we're going to talk about here today. Flashback tweet of mine is linked to below. Retweet that flashback tweet from 2016. I've mentioned that a few times. I guess that'll be the last time. People have retweeted it, and people get a kick out of me saying things in 2016, like when Bitcoin was $500 or $400, that it's going to be big. And yeah, that's what that flashback tweet is about. All right, play this at 2x if you're watching this taped, with so many of you are right now. All right, so Ray Dalio is this economic genius, apparently. I don't know. I want to preface. Last week, I did not mention this, but everyone, it seemed like so many people in the Bitcoin space were blindly retweeting this Ray Dalio article. World has gone mad. The world has gone mad and the system is broken. And that sounds really cool for Bitcoin people. Oh, that means Bitcoin's going to take over, right? That's going to take over the system. The thing is, I've listened to Ray Dalio before, and I heard the critique, a very good critique that I don't link to below. You can find it yourself. Yaron Brook, basically saying Ray Dalio is one of these guys who likes to say capitalism is broken. Capitalism is not broken. I mean, the government interference, the system that we have is not the best system, but it is not capitalism. And when Ray Dalio speaks, all these socialists are like, yes, we got to take away from the wealthy. And I'm not going to put words in the Ray Dalio's mouth, all right? But he is far from a Bitcoin fan, okay? In terms of let's make this a Bitcoin system and return to real capitalism. He's more of he's fit, and I'm sure he's a smart guy and everything like that, but he's fitting into the popular narrative of today. He's all about the popular narrative. Capitalism is broken. Let's try out some socialistic type of stuff. All right, that's his business. But I wasn't going to talk about his article that everyone was like in love with, like blindly gushing over last week. But then today I see something that's awesome, and it was from Trace Mayer, but Alex Svetsky, and both of them have been on the show before. Alex Svetsky really put it into perspective. It was a retweet of Ray Dalio, okay? And let's see what Alex Svetsky said about this, what Ray Dalio said in this 2-minute clip, which you can listen to because it didn't really make much sense. Alex said, "What the heck did I just watch? It's almost as if someone from a crypto conference gave him a few cliche lines to use. He can't be that out of touch, right?" Well, actually, he can. Ray used a lot of buzzwords in it. He likes blockchain over Bitcoin. He doesn't think Bitcoin's a store of value. He thinks you have to buy stuff with it right now. It was as if he doesn't know he doesn't know that Bitcoin to Ethereum, it's apples and oranges. He says something about Ethereum where he doesn't know what it is. And this reveals that the guy's, he's going with the popular narrative of crypto, but and he's getting publicity for it. So his commentary on cryptocurrency was, it seemed like it was a bunch of buzzwords that he just threw together that someone gave to him. So, and that made me even happier that, I was definitely on the right side of history by not talking about his ridiculous article complaining about the system, because he doesn't, I don't know what he likes, mainstream narratives, it seems like, and these popular tales that are sort of different. He's sort of a rebel talking about cryptocurrency, isn't he? But it's no help. But I'm sure he's smart, and he's made a lot of money for himself and whatnot. But just because you're super smart doesn't mean you get it, and doesn't mean you get capitalism. Doesn't mean you get Bitcoin and cryptocurrency here. So, but Trace Mayer said, very bullish for Bitcoin when brilliant minds like Ray Dalio screw up 7 network effects analysis like Bcachers. Shows Bitcoin is hard. Okay, that's a positive spin on the whole thing. I like that. It's better than what everybody was doing last week when they were blindly just sending out this article by Ray Dalio about how what was it called last week? I just want to make it sure. This is why you don't put these people on pedestals. People were putting him on a pedestal last week because he wrote an article, "The world has gone mad and the system is broken." I didn't think it was that great of an article. It's what people have been talking about. And I was a little biased because I already knew that he's not he wants to alter capitalism. I learned that from Yaron Brook. Anyway, so moving on, that's don't put people on pedestals, and be careful of these Twitter mobs. Some of these Twitter / everyone gets behind some of these articles like, this is the best article, this is the best article, this is the best guy, he's so smart. And people don't even know why they're doing it. They're not thinking. And these are some smart people. And I know it's easy just to retweet stuff and just read the headline. The headline seemed great, but what has happened now recently with this, you can actually hear him in a 2-minute clip, and you'll see, wait a second, this guy isn't all he's cracked up to be. Definitely not. All right, Roman Q says, this shows that some 1%ers are 80%ers. Well, in a sense, no one can be. He produces stuff. In the bottom line, the bottom line is the guy knows that. He is saved. He is produced. So that's going to make him really a 20%er in his core beliefs. But he's in the fitting in. I wouldn't call him an 80%er, but you're on track there. Okay, pound that like button, everyone. I'm skipping around here. CoinDesk article, which of course I don't usually talk about CoinDesk articles, but it was from Friday. FBI director, cryptocurrency is significant issue for law enforcement. All right, so there was some hearing. United States, and Mitt Romney, who's a senator now, a senator from Utah, the Massachusetts Romney is a senator from Utah, and his dad was from Michigan. You can move all over and become and if you want to get into politics, yeah, great stuff. Great. These guys like Romney are worshipped by people. But anyway, he was asking typical what am I looking for? Rhino type of questions to and getting typical type of Rhino answers that that the FBI director is worried about law enforcement and crypto. I mean, we've heard it all before, but I'm bringing this up because it was a hearing. It was one of these hearings, and every one of these hearings, whether it be for Zuckerberg, whether it be whatever crypto related, it seems like there's some people out there that just sell when they hear about there's a hearing. And sure enough, the price, and everyone's like, oh, why did the price go down? Why did the price go? Oh, I'm so worried. It's at 8,800. Oh, it's not in the 9,000s anymore. Oh, eBay. Oh, all these people screaming nonsense because nonsense people continue to do the same thing. Whenever you have one of these hearings and there's a headline that comes out of it, they sell. And then by the end of the weekend or Monday or Tuesday, it's like it never happened. And people just don't get used to it and they still get scared. So maybe that happened again this time. That's how I see these hearings at this point. Just as like time capsules, just to remember the last time, the points in time to remember the last time this exact same thing happened, and to see if people keep falling for it. There's a hearing, people panic, people sell, nothing really came out of the hearing. Then a few days later, everybody forgets about everything and the price goes up again. And some people lost their Bitcoin because they, were trying to time the market based on hearings and stuff. Okay. There was a guy I mentioned a few days ago, the Grin Talk dude. And this guy, say what you will about Grin, he's in motion. He's leaving comments under my videos asking me if I had watched his video yet, and the video was a very interesting interview of Charlie Lee. And they were talking about MimbleWimble on Litecoin and extension blocks. And I didn't get the whole thing. I'm not that interested. This guy's in motion. I give him credit for, he watches my channel. I'll talk about his channel. I took time. I watched his video. And a lot of you want to know more about MimbleWimble. A lot of you think Litecoin is a test net for Bitcoin in the first place, and maybe they can do these extension. So it's about extension blocks. That's how they're going to somehow put MimbleWimble on Litecoin. And there is a great developer over there. This is one of my big takeaways, named David Burkett, who apparently is a really, really smart guy and is working on this project of MimbleWimble and Litecoin. So people have asked me about this before. Why don't you watch this guy's video, Grin Talk's video, if you're really interested in this type of stuff? But I'm no altcoin or anything like that. But this is, and again, I like that I'm getting MimbleWimble coin for free as an airdrop. But they're not hurting anyone here. Okay, they're competing. They're not complaining. They're innovating, and hey, maybe this will help Bitcoin in the long run, because Litecoin has been a test net in the past. And no, I'm not saying to buy Litecoin. I'm not promoting anything like that. And there, something that's really sickening. It's really sickening still that's going on in the Twitter space, the social media space. The envy toward Charlie Lee, the envy, the anger toward one of the nicest, most honest people I have ever met in this space, who's been on my show numerous times. People saying they want to do horrible things to him because they're still bitter that he sold his Litecoin. Okay. They're still bitter that they were valuing their wealth in Litecoin when they had no business doing that in the first place, okay? Yeah, he founded it. He was going to have to sell it one day. He made it public that he did it. And he wasn't trying to hide anything or anyone. He is a good guy, and I'm still reading stuff. And people are ripping on his brother now, and I'm going to get into a second. Matt Odell ripped on his brother and tried to incorporate Charlie Lee into the Bobby Lee hatred, okay? And it's ridiculous. I think it's absolutely ridiculous, and it's a waste of my time to really even talk about it as much as I have. But I want to come to these guys' defenses, okay? To call them scammers, to put them in the same bucket as BitConnect people or fake Toshi. It is so. It's very impulsive. It's very reactionary. It's naive. It's 80%. It's scapegoating. It's just like an 80%. Instead of doing your own thing, instead of producing, you're just blaming everyone else for your problems. And these guys, you're free to scapegoat them. This is where the big boys play. Okay. And it's not going to affect them. They're still going to have as much Bitcoin as they do. I mean, you could be envious as much as you want to, but it's getting to a ridiculous. And so we're going to talk about the popular narrative going around about Ballet, this Ballet wallet that Bobby Lee has made. But we're going to get into this second. Pound that like button. For now, there is something entertaining that I was copied on Twitter, and I was mentioned. Tizen, again, a lot of people don't like Tizen, but I mean, he's a trader. I don't encourage people to trade, but he's honest. He lays it all out on the table. He says that he's been in jail before. He'll put it all out there. He says that trading isn't for everyone. He says that he specifically pumps specific coins that he owns. He's not lying. He's putting it all out there. He has a funny video where he mentions me, and he talks about crypto CUCKSs. I don't want to say that word. It rhymes with bucks, and it starts with a C. And it talks about some of the thirsty guys out there who would just praise some of the content producers and tweeters out there just because they are of a certain sex. It's pretty hilarious. And yes, Tizen and I have talked about this offline before over DM. It's pretty funny. And I've talked about this on my Beyond Bitcoin show and other shows about the crypto CUCKs out there. That so everybody wants a guru, and some thirsty dudes just want some female guru, and they'll just praise them on things that just make no sense. And they'll buy their altcoins if they say, if they mention an altcoin, these thirsty guys will just buy it. Hey, and that's the way the world works, dudes. I mean, there are thirsty men, and they're going to listen to. And so, women, you have amazing power over thirsty men. And hey, this is where the big boys play. So if you want to come to this space and you want to make money off of thirsty men, hey, personal responsibility is a new counterculture. It's those dudes' faults. They keep falling for this nonsense. But hey, Tizen though breaks it down on his video. All right. And yes, and it's awesome to be in the Bitcoin overlay where I work for myself, and I can just talk about things like this, and no one can cancel me. Pound that like button. All right, so what do we have here? Nick Carter. Okay, so another thing from last week. At the end of last week, Tour de Meester came out with a new report. It was called the Bitcoin Reformation, and it compared the Bitcoin situation to the Reformation in Europe in when was that? The 1600s and the 1700s, whenever it was. And everyone was gushing over it. Just gushing over it. And Tour de Meester he's a really smart guy. And I read it, and I gotta say, do you really need such a comparison to get you pumped and to have faith in Bitcoin? Okay? It's an interesting comparison. Is it perfect? No, it's less than perfect, to say the least, the comparison. Is it creative? It's pretty creative, I guess. But again, I don't really get it. Like, do you need this type of analogy to get you into Bitcoin? To be like, all right, that's it. Right. This is why there's a Bitcoin revolution going on in 2020. This is why we're about to enter the golden age, because it's kind of similar to the Reformation, when the Protestants broke off from the Catholic Church and everything started progressing in Europe. People started free thinking, and it was decentralized. Do you really need that? And and he's a student of, and he's from that region. He's from Europe originally. And so he's a student of that, and it's interesting, it's entertaining. He has had other reports that revolve around the pure numbers, and they're great. I mean, he has come up with some great things, great charts, great. You could learn so much from the guy. And people are just gushing like this, like never before for this thing, though. And I just gotta say, it's what it is. You can read it. And he says that a new merchant class emerged in Europe during that period, and he compares that to the millennial generation. And I don't think that's the proper comparison. I think if you want to compare that era to this era, you're going to compare it to new merchant class emerging in Europe, then to the new independent contractor gig economy class that's emerging now. I think that's the proper thing to do, because when you this class of people, they realize you don't need that traditional lifestyle. The gig economy people, the people working for themselves like me, the people in the Bitcoin overlay. Yes, there is an awakening to people know that you don't need a traditional lifestyle anymore. Just like back then, the new merchant class, that was a non-traditional life. That was a new class of people. That was a new lifestyle. And that was great that came out of it. And now we're living in an era where this gig economy, work for yourself, is coming out of it. But he doesn't compare it to that. He compares it just to the millennial generation. The millennial generation, there are a lot of lazy bums there, okay? There are a lot of people that just want to fit in. They like their traditional lifestyles. They're just bitter and angry that they can't have the same traditional lifestyles their parents have. They're not willing to change. They're not part of any Reformation or anything like that. So I think he gives them a lot of credit. I mean, they're fed up. I think a lot of millennials are fed up, but they want it. They want to get their big houses still. They want. And what was this other thing I said here? Yeah, they still want the stuff. They still want stuff. Like if we're entering this new, if everything is changing now, okay, they're not. They still want everything that everybody had before. They still want the dollar. So yeah, the compare. You read it yourself. It's not the perfect. It's not gush worthy in my opinion, but I respect the dude a lot. And Nick Carter was he was gushing about it too. All right. Wait a second. And millennials. Okay, I'm not vilifying all millennials, but he kind of pedestals all millennials in that paper. And all right, so here's Matt Odell. Here's Matt Odell's comments on Ballet crypto, which I strongly disagree with, and I'm going to get into it. And Matt Odell is great. He can be really strict. He can be like orthodox about Bitcoinism. All right, he can be pretty harsh to people. And again, so he usually takes emotion out of it. And at the same time, this is shaming language he uses here. It's pretty simple. This is what he says. Anyone associated with Ballet crypto, and that's the Ballet wallet that Bobby Lee has come up with, should be ashamed of themselves. All right, so that's extremism on my part. All right, and this is where the big boys play. So I'm going to critique his shaming language. So the Ballet crypto thing, it's just this. It's a very simple wallet that has your private key on it and your public key on it. It is for beginners to get into the space, okay? And yet, so we don't know if the people who are making these things, Bobby Lee's employees, if they actually see the private key and are saving it. And maybe one day, or just steal everybody's Bitcoin. That is very possible. It's very possible. You have to take Bobby Lee's word for this, okay? We get that. I get that. I really get that. And I've said this on previous shows. Is it the best way to store your Bitcoin? Heck no. No way. Get a Trezor. But this is supposed to get the point of this. He's starting a business, okay? He has realized there's an opportunity where people need to get that. There's some newbies out there. They don't get any technology. They need it. They need it spoon-fed to them. They need it really easy. And that's what this is. And so once you understand that, this is not the best way to store my Bitcoin, then you move on and you immediately move it off of there, okay? You immediately move it off of there. Now, God forbid, some of his employees were corrupt and some of them started stealing. We would immediately know. His business would be immediately ruined, and that would be it, okay? We have had huge Bitcoin exchange hacks before. We're still going to have them. So people are still storing their Bitcoins there. Those unfortunate situations have already happened. And we constantly warn people not to keep their Bitcoin on these third-rate, fourth-rate exchanges that are so obvious that they'll have exit scams one day. This Bobby Lee product is better than some of those, okay? Because you already know that this is just your beginner thing and you got to get it off of there originally. This is for beginners. Everyone's not a beginner forever and you move on. When you're storing it on the exchange, you think this is the norm. This is the new normal. This is the normal. I just keep it on the exchange. You're not learning to actually control it yourself, okay? with this product, with this Ballet thing, you're learning to control your private key yourself. Okay, you're actually controlling your private key. Now there's a question: did someone else see your private key beforehand? Does someone else have it? Who knows? But what you do know on those third-rate exchanges is that they do have your private key and you don't. So this is better. So to say people should be ashamed to be associated with this product, which is for beginners, and he puts up a picture up there of Bobby Lee and Charlie Lee. I mean, does Charlie Lee own the company? I don't know what Charlie Lee has to do with their brothers, okay? So, I mean, again, so everyone starts piling on Charlie Lee in the thread, which is what I addressed beforehand. So, I mean, Matt Odell is entitled to his opinion about the whole situation, okay? But I mean, I just gave you a breakdown of like, these guys aren't villains. These guys he's not scamming anyone. If something went wrong on his side, if someone stole, if it was corrupt, that's it. That's the end of his wallet. It's over. He's taking a risk here, okay? He's trying to make a product for beginners. So I praise him for being innovative. Is it the perfect thing? No, there is no perfect solution when you're dealing with private keys, public keys, and trying to spoon feed new people. Trezor is not for spoon feed like moms and dads, okay? The 70-year-old moms and dads. I reckon, again, I say get the Trezor, get a real hardware wallet, but there are plenty of people who don't want to hear from that at all. It is too complicated. Bitcoin, the user experience, and we've said this many times, is too complicated now. It's for many, many, many people. For a lot of people, it's fine. It's fine. And we're in this bubble where we all think it's so easy and fine. It's so easy and fine. But for many, many people, they'll never get into it unless they have it spoon-fed to them with a product like Ballet. So I'm not going to pile on the dude. That's what this whole video has been about, as you've noticed. There have been themes. People piled on the greatness of that Ray Dalio article, but like I thought otherwise, and then the proof came out. Then people piled on how great Tor's report was, when like it was okay, yeah. And now people are piling on how horrible Ballet is, and how horrible Bobby Lee is, and how horrible Charlie Lee is. And I'm saying, no, that's not. So this is, I mean, conviction, baby. Stand for something, baby. Don't just go with the freaking herd. Pound that like button. All right. And there's something really important I forgot to bring up. That in that thread, though, there was something great. This guy, Happy Bear, BTC, said, they say they don't hold the keys, same as Cassacious coins. So accusing them of doing so is not fair. But I would recommend not to buy it if they can hold their private key. So very interesting comparison. Everybody seems to like those Cassacious coins. Remember those gold coins that you peel off something and your private key is there. So couldn't the people that made all those Cassacious coins just as easily have your private key as Bobby Lee's employees? Yes, without a doubt. There's no difference between those freaking Cassacious coins, from what I know, and this product. Ballet. But those Cassacious coins, people trade them. They're supposedly worth so much. They're collector's items, et cetera, et cetera. No one's saying those people are criminal. Now, I have read tweets where people are saying, that isn't the best way to store your Bitcoin on those freaking Cassacious coins. Yeah, that is true. Just like this isn't the best way. Just like Bobby Lee's product, Ballet isn't the best. It isn't the best way. But you learn, you move on. But this Cassacious coins, does that get as much hate as Bobby Lee and Charlie Lee? Heck no, because people don't think, and it's a mob mentality out there. Let me see if there were any other questions. Okay, no. Okay, we got all sorts. Bitcoin to the moon is in there. How you doing, dude? I was just hanging out with Bitcoin to the moon in person. Pound that like button. And finally, Ballet wallet. This is from the Ballet people. Ballet wallet setup and secure storage of private keys is Bitcoin wallet setup and secure storage of private keys is a barrier to entry for people who do not have good computer skills. The majority of the world's population fits that category. That is the market Ballet seeks to serve. There you go. That should explain it to all the people who think it's that anyone associated with Ballet should be ashamed of themselves. They should be ashamed. They should be ashamed of themselves because they're trying to get the majority of the world's population into understanding how to hold Bitcoin, how to control your private key, and then move on from that. Okay, but again, you can't. If you're going to stick with that your whole life, then that's not a good situation. But it's an easy way to give gifts. So I say they are innovating. I say they're innovating. Is it perfect? No, it's not perfect. But compete, don't complain. And good luck to Bobby Lee and the Ballet people. I think you know that they're producing. They're producing. It's good they're producing something. All right, that is, and I respect production, and I respect both those dudes, Bobby Lee and Charlie Lee. I'm Adam Meister, the Bitcoin Meister, this Rub Meister. It feels like I skipped something, but hopefully I didn't. Remember to subscribe to this channel, like this video, share this video, check out the links below, pound that like button, and great hanging out with you yesterday, Bitcoin Meister. You are the real deal, my Bitcoin brother, strong hand. Thank you, Bitcoin in the Moon. Thank you for ending this this show on such a positive note. Click on those squares, guys. See you tomorrow because there's a new show every day. Bye-bye.